right, welcome on into the Ryan Ripken Show. Happy Friday. We're live down at Liv's Tavern in Federal Hill. Typically, okay, we're not having Deep Eddy yet.
Well, I was getting the
cinnamon.
branding. I love holding a microphone. Continue.
Is that what we're just going to do this entire time? I'm going to leave mine down. But we do have a lot of things to talk about here. Hey, enjoy the weekend. Grab a beer, grab a Deep Eddy Crush. If you come down to Liv's Tavern and you're watching this, get a crush on me or on Zach specifically.
We're at the bar.
But we have a lot of baseball to talk about. We know that it's football season, and I understand Ravens have a home game. They play the Jets on Sunday. But really, the talk about that is what? Just win, right?
Yeah.
You should win. In this case, though, with baseball, the stove's getting hot, and there's a lot of moving parts. MLB, the non-tendered or tendered contracts just got released. We'll get to all of that. Grayson Rodriguez spoke today after just getting traded, and there's a little information there that might shock people, and we'll kind of debunk this. We'll bring back Kyle from Iron Rooster, his game, big deal or not a big deal. And then what else we got going on here, Zach? We got a couple other topics we wanted to cover. Yes? No?
Yeah. Can people hear us in the chat?
My mic's not on? My
No.
mic is not on? Awesome. Great. Let's try this again.
I don't know. I think it's.
Can you guys hear me?
No, I think we're good. Can you guys hear us well? Brooks
So
is
it's
saying
just
good.
a Brooks issue.
Yeah,
It's just-
Brooks, maybe turn your volume up.
Thank you for everyone in there and for our channel members. We appreciate each and every
Oh,
one of you.
I didn't think about that for the vertical bits. Yeah, that's
better. How
yeah.
about
Do it
that?
from there. Do it from there for a sec.
We'll stay right here for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll stay here for a second. We got the vertical figured out. Okay. Goodness gracious. See, this is what happens when we go on the road a little bit, guys. I'm going to sit down. Zach's going to try to figure something out. What are you trying to
Well,
figure out?
I was making sure people could hear us.
Yeah, they can hear us. Yeah, they heard you the whole time.
Well, yeah.
So Brooks just started this entire conversation about that he couldn't hear us, and then it set a panic. And Brooks, you should know better, because when we're on the road and we're out and about, that's my fear, because it's like death taxes, and the Ryan Ripken Show is going to mess up their audio. It happens. It's a tale as old as time. But we're ready to rock and roll. So, Zach, what do we want to do for the vertical? Do we want to?
So that's where we're gonna have to make a decision. I mean, do we want the other one to be just on me, and then we go back and forth? But then that creates a lot of
stress. Yeah, I mean, it's some good elbow action.
like, yeah, it's literally just foul.
All right,
Shooting.
well, why don't we get into this whole damn
Two
thing?
shots.
We got a lot to talk about, and I mean a lot. And we have a lot of people that are tuning in. And if you guys are tuning in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if you're in Baltimore and you're in the area, then come on down to Liv's Tavern. Zach will buy you an Orange Crush on him. Well, appreciate Deep Eddy Vodka here. Do we want to start with the non-tender, or do we want to start with Grayson Rodriguez?
I guess let's talk non-tenders real fast, just because that just dropped.
Okay.
You know, I think that's something that just dropped. So should we start? I guess we'll start in Baltimore. I don't want to say either of these one was more surprising than the other, but let's start with the guy who is staying in Baltimore, and that would be Ryan Mountcastle. This is a shock for people. It kind of felt like over the past, especially 24 hours, it almost felt like the writing was on the wall, and Ryan Mountcastle would not be a Baltimore Oriole when 5 o'clock struck today. Felt like he was a prime candidate to be non-tendered, with his deal, I believe, going to be in arbitration around $7.5 to $8 million. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But Ryan, your former teammate Ryan Mountcastle, staying in Baltimore.
Yeah. Well, for now.
For now, that's true. That he is not a free agent is how we should put it.
He's not a free agent. So could he be traded? The answer is yes. Ryan Mountcastle still could be traded. But the one thing I'm trying to figure out, which I know a lot of people are going to ask, what does that mean for you? Have a right-handed hitting first baseman in Kobe Mayo. You have a right-handed hitting first baseman, Ryan Mountcastle. And then guess what? You have a left-handed catcher that will play first base in Sam Basayo. So where are the at-bats coming from? It's a good question because I don't have the answer for you. But one thing I do have to tell you is Ryan Mountcastle, to me, is still a big league hitter, and he was the best hitter in the organization when I played. The dude has bat-to-ball skills, lost some confidence, been injured. So there is a value to him. Oh, thank you for putting that on. But the question's going to remain, how are you going to give out your at-bats? And if you don't have the value for him, is there value elsewhere to go send him? And then how committed are you to Kobe Mayo? I mean, we're going to find that out when we get into spring training. But those are the questions that are happening right now as we try to figure out what they are going to do. That's a log jam. Kobe Mayo has the more trade value. There's no doubt about that. But Ryan Mountcastle is one of those guys where if we look around MLB, and you might be down on him right now, but he goes somewhere else and rakes because another team goes, yeah, that guy still got it. That is Ryan Mountcastle. He's a guy that a rookie year set the Orioles home run record. He's a guy that when he gets hot, he can hit with the best of them, but it's consistency, it's health, and staying out of your head. So that was one of the tendered moves, Zach, that we have found out for now. Is that the only main? Oh, no, it's not the only main Oriole one because we have to change our own damn reel.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ben McDonald came on the show and talked about how Robert Suarez, the Padres closer, it would be a perfect fit in Baltimore because, hey, his brother's here. You got the comfortability. You're comfortable. Your brother's here. That really helps. Well, not anymore. The Orioles, you see all the roster moves put out here nicely by the Orioles official Twitter, so appreciate them. The Orioles declined to tender a contract to right-handed pitcher Albert Suarez, allowing him to become a free agent. So at the moment, it looks like Big Al will not be returning to Baltimore. Kind of surprising also in the fact of, I think a lot of people maybe if they didn't put it in pen, they were kind of penciling him in, at least going into spring training as that long guy out of the bullpen, a guy that gives you a lot of depth in the rotation because we talked about before, depth is important. You know, how many times in 23 or 24, we were talking during spring training, we're like, man, the Orioles got like 8 or 9 starters. They have too many starters. By the end of the year, you're like, we don't have enough starters.
Yeah. And right now, this gives you more flexibility. So right when, again, the immediate thought process is what the hell is going on? And then there's going to be people yelling and screaming and want to throw things at Zach and probably me because when the Orioles make a move, Zach, I'm the problem.
It's your fault.
As well as you.
Yeah.
But overall, like, you made a good point for once, and I'm proud of you.
I tried.
When you go into spring training, you want to have options. So for the Orioles in this offseason, Ryan Mountcastle becomes an option for what they can do. Everyone that they brought back becomes an option for whether they hold them or they use them as a trade chip. And you never know what happens from now until you open up the season in 2026. So many things happen. And we've seen it across sports. If you don't have the depth and you don't get the moves in the offseason, well, then don't deplete your roster just to deplete it. Now, if you non-tendered a guy like Mountcastle or Albert Suarez, well, then you got to replace them in some capacity, right? You got to have some type of play and plan in place. So for now, that's what's happening. But I got to say, this is really killing my damn thought about Robert Suarez, the brothers uniting. Me and Ben McDonald were on the same page with that. Now you got to go back and fix the reel that they're going to put out about that.
I literally sent the reel over right before we got here, and I got to edit out the whole part about the brothers being involved. Yeah, this is it's surprising just because of the depth aspect. You wonder if they have something up their sleeve. Same with Mountcastle. I still would find it very hard. I don't want to say hard to believe, but I would almost be a little surprised if both Mountcastle and Mayo are on this team when they go to spring training, when they get to Sarasota, just because, in all honesty, they are a repetitive player. You know, you have a power hitting righty first baseman. Before it worked when you had O'Hearn and you had Mountcastle because it was like, hey, one's a right-handed first baseman, one's a left-handed first baseman. You can platoon there. You don't really have a platoon with Mayo and Mountie, and you're going to want Basayo to get at bats. You're going to want Adley to get at bats. You know, all those guys. Obviously now Tyler O'Neill, Taylor Ward, we see they're not done maybe with the outfield. So going from there is really going to, I guess I'm just intrigued what happens there because it just is hard for me to think that they go to Sarasota and Mayo and Mountcastle are both on the squad.
Yeah, that will cause some more confusion. And I know also, speaking of confusion, I can see some Bob on I think you're on the vertical right now. So if you're on the vertical and you don't want to watch on the vertical, go to the other version, the horizontal, the full version, just because the way our cameras are set up, unless Zach and I get very close.
Yeah, I would have to come. No, I think.
Yeah, that's too close. So no, over there. Over there.
We were leaning the wrong way.
We were leaning the wrong way. But this is a part of the year that can frustrate people, but it's entertaining at the same time because football is about to pick up. Thanksgiving's next week. But the stove gets hotter. And yes, for those that are wondering, stop traffic, we will be down at the winter meetings next month, December 7th, to talk about whatever the hell is going on down there. And typically that's where the moves really start to pick up, but it's the domino effect. So we talked about a couple of Orioles, but we do talk a lot of baseball here. So what other non-tenders caught your eye, Zach? Especially I thought there was 2 out of Texas.
Yeah, Texas. We don't have the tweet up, but I can the Texas Rangers non-tendered not just one former All-Star, 2. And honestly, when you look back at their championship run, 2 of the guys that kind of carried them offensively and were the stars of that team, and Jonah Heim, former Oriole, and Adolis Garcia. So 2 guys. Adolis Garcia adds a lot of power, as I joked with you beforehand. The Orioles should bring him in because he's somehow just a buffer Tyler O'Neill in the fact of how they play.
Let's bring him in.
Yeah, just
let's create a mega person of O'Neill, Garcia,
get the most buff
and
outfielders you can find and bring them to Baltimore. That's got to be the game plan. But realistically, this is now 2 power bats. And actually, funny enough for Adolis Garcia, you talk about Taylor Ward being off the market, that he was clearly an outfielder that was available. We'll see what happens with Kyle Tucker. But Adolis Garcia probably falls now. I know he's coming off a very, very disappointing year. He's obviously got to stay healthy. He probably falls into that middle of the tier 2 range for me. Like, he's not a star by any means. You're hoping that he progresses and gets back to what he was. But when you talk about just the raw power and, oh my gosh, you want to talk about a clutch factor. I mean, this is a guy when the lights are the brightest, he finds a way to get it done. So I would not be surprised if Adolis Garcia is heavily sought after.
Yeah, but not going to be sought after in Baltimore.
No, I don't see that.
I know. Creating the mega person, the mega outfielder. I mean, Garcia is a unit, and obviously, if you remember him in 2023, that dude was bopping all the way with the Rangers to the postseason and the World Series title. But someone is going to want him. Right, and it's the upside moves. And typically the offseason, which I actually like, it's not the big-name moves that people sign. It's the ones that you least expect of what you can do and who can make an impact. And last night on Instagram, by the way, like I put out what I thought, in this case, we know a lot of people in Baltimore, like the Orioles, I've heard from time to time. Yeah. Like, they might love, but like's a stretch.
Very true.
Very true on that one. But the overall conversation piece is, depth is important. Having a veteran bat is important. And in this case, if the Orioles were to get another outfielder at this point, unless they shock everyone and get Kyle Tucker, again, not expecting that. But do you decide to get another 4th outfielder? Because you need that depth, the guy that's a veteran that's been around, and that's not going to be Garcia. But the reason why I bring that up, who ended up being the crown jewel for the Orioles offseason last year? He was the 4th outfielder, wasn't supposed to play. I had people blowing up my phone that he should have been released off the team after 2 weeks because he was 1 for his first 20. You have an idea of what I'm talking about?
Ramon
Laureano, and it turned out to be one of the best deals of the year, not just for the Orioles, but around baseball. So looking at all these contracts, it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen moving forward.
And I will say real fast, just kind of taking it back with, non-tenders and all of that and the Orioles, a guy like Albert Suarez, not only does that, we can look at it from, okay, why would you want a guy like Suarez? Why wouldn't you want him back? This did open up. The Orioles now have 38 men on the 40-man roster. So 2 spots have been opened up after Alex Jackson traded earlier today and now Albert Suarez. So 2 spots have opened up on the 40-man roster. Two spots are now open on the 40-man roster. I'm just saying. But it does give you some flexibility there as well. So it might not have been do the Orioles want Albert Suarez back, but they might have seen him, unfortunately, as one of the odd men out on the 40-man if they want to make moves and go out there and grab an outfielder or another starting pitcher. Like, you got to make a move. Someone's got to go off the 40 if you can, if you want to make a move. So that also probably played into a lot of these moves being made today with Garcia and Heim, because I know the Rangers were looking to trade either. Didn't get what they thought was good enough, which, I mean, it's interesting to see what they were offered. But, yeah, it looks like there are now 2 spots open on the Orioles roster. Lots of teams freeing up some stuff.
Those are the big names, right, for the non-tenders?
Yes. At least the ones, I'm going through the ones that if Passan tweeted, it's a big deal, and the only 3 he tweeted were Heim, Adolis Garcia. He actually tweeted out that Mountcastle was tendered, which kind of shows you the kind of shock about that, because if Passan feels the need to include you in your own tweet about you getting extended a contract, that shows you that it was probably not as expected.
Mm-hmm. Well, just when you expect it not to go the way that you expect. Hey, look, this is business. This is baseball. And for whatever reasons, people make their choices. So we talked about the MLB non-tender and how people are going to be set to hit the free agent market and who are staying around for at least a little more time. But teams operate in their own ways. And certain teams are going to really look to do their due diligence on what they believe they should before they acquire talent, right? They look into it. But then there are some teams that maybe don't look so closely into the medical side. And I think we get into this topic now, Zach.
Yeah.
And before we do, hit that like and subscribe button, by the way. Ryan Ripken Show. We're live at 5, but today 5:38 here on the channel on YouTube, X, and Facebook. And I got to shout out our friends over at Merit Clubs, by the way, where for Thanksgiving time, 21st to the 30th of this month, you can have a membership for the rest of the year for $20.25. Because you get the reason why, Zach, 2025.
I've heard.
There you go. That's that loyal education working good. So how do you spell 2025?
MERRITT.
And when I move, you move.
Just like that.
So just like that, we appreciate Merit Clubs, and we got to talk about this Grayson Rodriguez conversation. So I talked to Grayson, or was messaging with him a few days ago. Actually, it might have been yesterday. I'm losing track of the days. But you guys know I got nothing but the best for him. I've spent a lot of time with him throughout the years being in the organization. Obviously, his time in Baltimore is over. But he was on Foul Territory today and talked about the process of getting traded. So you thought, I just mentioned that teams might do their due diligence because, hey, he's got an injury, shoulder, elbow, whatever it may be. You might want to do a little bit more medical examination. Well, Grayson was asked about, did he go through any medical examination? And why don't you guys hear his answer here real quickly?
I have no idea. I'm going to be honest with you. Hadn't had any kind of conversations like that. I'm not saying that there won't be any conversations about it. I'm sure there will be. But right now, I mean, we haven't talked about that. Right now, just focused on getting ready, making sure we show up to spring training healthy and ready to throw. I think that's, kind of at the front. We might worry about the innings limit or whatever. If there is one, we'll worry about that down the road when we get there. But right now, just focus on being an Angel and getting my arm ready to go back out and throw.
So Grayson there, they didn't check on me before I got traded, right? No, hey, I got the call text. I'm going to LA. That was how it worked. And that is how some teams do it. And we'll get into that here. Maybe, I don't know how you want to segment that on the big deal, not a big deal part of this. But you heard it right from Grayson. The Angels didn't take a look at his medicals, which I think for teams they probably should, just because you never know. But clearly they were willing to take the upside no matter what. And Grayson's expecting to be ready for spring training. But also, last year he was supposed to be ready for spring training. So if he cleaned things up and he's ready to go, there's a lot of optimism there if you're an Angels fan. But it is kind of a weird situation. I will be honest. I was a little surprised here that the Angels didn't even bother to check the medicals there. That seems a little strange.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's not even the fact of like, oh, a team didn't check on medicals, because we've seen before, like, you've heard chatter from people around the industry that, hey, it's not uncommon for teams to not check on medicals beforehand, take that risk. But this seems a little different when a guy hasn't pitched in a year and a half on different injuries and has had an injury history. I just feel like you may have, and we don't know what they got, Grayson and, the Orioles may have shared things, whatever it may be. But it just feels a little weird that in this situation, if I'm the Angels, it feels like maybe you would have wanted to see something for yourself just because of the injury history with Grayson. Any other trade, a guy without an injury history, I don't think, like, I'm not sitting here as an Orioles fan, and if they said, hey, we didn't get the injury, we didn't do medicals on Taylor Ward, I wouldn't be sitting here going, oh God.
Oh,
like what's
sure.
But because of the injury history of Grayson Rodriguez, I think that opens up okay, is this maybe a bigger risk than we initially were led on to believe?
So, come here closer. Let's talk about this. So, you're right. For certain guys, you don't even look at a injury report or an injury diagnosis. You don't have a physical to look at the specifics of all that. Now, if you're spending a lot of damn money on a player, yeah, you know what? You're going to take a really close examination, because if something ain't right, you're going to give out a $1 billion, then you got to make sure your investment's in line. So Taylor Ward, 1-year deal. Yeah, I don't think that they're going to look that closely. He still needs to be examined at some point. That's just how it goes. But the Grayson part is interesting, just given that fact. Does Taylor Ward have value if he doesn't get traded now and gets traded during the deadline this next year? Sure, no doubt about it. But I think the interesting part for me here is that the Angels were willing to go with the fact that, okay, even if Grayson isn't healthy this year, regardless, we know we have a guy that's under team control for years, plural. And that's where I look at it, Zach. It's the move where the Angels are willing to take a risk. I've talked about this over and over and over again. This is more than just, hey, the Orioles wanted a good right-handed bat. It's more than that. Because they didn't say, you know what, we got everything we wanted with Taylor Ward, which, by the way, I am a fan of Taylor Ward. I like his dependability. I like his consistency of being able to play almost every day the last 2 years. Like, that matters. But this isn't totally about that. A guy that's had injury history, hasn't pitched since 2024, end of the summer. Was it July of 2024?
Yeah, because last we saw of Grayson was August 6th, 2024, when he was warming up for the game and then said he didn't feel well. Just something didn't feel right.
Yeah, in Toronto, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I'm saying with all this is, every team does this, by the way. Whether it's going to be right or wrong, we're going to find out if it was right or wrong. If the Orioles go to the playoffs and win some playoffs games and Taylor Ward is putting balls deep into the seats or he's making that impact, no one's going to bat an eye if Grayson Rodriguez for the next 5 years turns out to be a stud. They'll be pissed off, but if Taylor Ward's a big reason why, people ain't going to complain. Why? Yeah, it's been 42 stinking years since the Baltimore Orioles have gone to a World Series. And they haven't won a playoff game, even though they had the most wins in the American League from 2022 to 2024. So you need to figure some things out there. But from the Grayson side, teams, whether you get stressed out and there's tension around, we'll get to that in a second. And that is really interesting that we'll get to in a second. So there's tension around Grayson and the organization, in my opinion. And I bet it just got to a point of, do we want to consider to continue to deal with this, or do we move on, fresh start for everyone? I'm going to say it's that. And again, I believe that there's a mixture of everything, but it was not solely that Taylor Ward was available. Let's make this trade because Taylor Ward's putting the Baltimore Orioles over the top. That is not it. Not it. A lot of other factors here. Just like a lot of other factors, if you guys are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show, we do this live every Monday through Friday at 5, live at 5. But today it's 5:30 because we're trying to get some things together.
Might need Nick Moore to confirm or deny.
We might need – so there's a lot of news that we need to talk about. So we do want to get into that the Angels seem to be taking all former Orioles. But you did just pull up Mike Elias at a presser.
Yeah, so
and that might have given more of an answer about where Ryan Mountcastle
we actually have one on him and Albert Suarez.
All right, give me an Albie.
We'll go
Albie first.
Albert Suarez in a Zoom call or Zoom meeting that Mike Elias just had. Mike Elias said that he hopes the Orioles can keep talking Albert Suarez despite today's non-tender, and the door is open to bringing him back. Maybe this is just something, like we said, to free up a roster spot for a few days, maybe makes an extra move or two, and then find out from there. So it looks like the door is not closed on Albert Suarez's tenure in Baltimore. I'm assuming because, let's be honest, Albert Suarez, he's no joke. This is a guy that when he came back to the U.S. after playing overseas for a while and reinvented himself, he became maybe the most valuable guy out, when all things considered, for the Orioles in 2024, a guy that you didn't expect to do anything. Then suddenly at times he's the ace of your staff, or most reliable at least. I wouldn't be surprised if he has suitors. So it's nice to see that they are still open to bringing him back. I would love to bring him back. I think just having that depth, like we've talked about, it's also a guy that can be in the bullpen and we've seen him at short notice where even this year in 2024, it's like, hey, 20, 30 minutes before a start, they're like, hey, forget who it was, can't go, Albert, can you do it? And he's like, oh, yeah, give me my cleats. Goes out there and pitches 5 innings. And it's like, that's a guy that you want on your team.
Yeah, Big Al. I'm a big fan of Big Al. I like what he does. I like what he represents. I love the fact that he was a dude that was just trying to get back to the bigs, what had been like 7 years or something like that, to just get back to the spot. He's a grinder. He doesn't care what the situation is. Put him out there. He's ready for it. So there's a value in those guys because we talked about it. Not everyone's cool with just saying, let me go into a game where it's tied, and if I give up a hit, this is done. Or, hey, we need you to eat 3 innings. Or better yet, when Grayson Rodriguez went down last year, hey, Big Al, we need you to start this game now and give us what you got. And I think Big Al went like 5 innings in that game. So that dude just wants to make an impact. So I like hearing that. I think the other fascinating news, and I saw someone say, oh, did Ryan Mountcastle get tendered? Yes, he did. And we were just talked about what does it mean? Well, guess what? Mike Elias said some words. Now, I have some things that we need to talk about here. So Mike Elias right there in his Zoom presser just said that about Ryan Mountcastle. He is a big part of our picture right now. That is a very bold claim. That's a very bold statement right there.
I just don't think that was a statement we saw coming.
But here's the thing. To me, and I told you this, I love Mountie. I love him. I just went off about how I said he's one of the best pure hitters I saw coming through. He was the best I saw coming through. I am fine with them committing to Ryan Mountcastle. I think that he is the best defensive first baseman you have. I think the pure raw talent that he has, and I know this might be crazy to say, that upside for him certainly actually might be higher than Kobe Mayo's if he's healthy. Because Mountie's bat to ball skills are incredible. But I just mentioned Kobe Mayo. I wonder now if that makes Kobe Mayo available. If you make this claim, and again, we all know word salad, right? Everyone loves a good word salad. Oh, we'll see. We love our guys. I like our guys. Yeah. We love our guys.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if this is then in 2 days, maybe not 2 days, but then if in a few weeks Ryan Mountcastle is still traded, maybe this is to sweeten the pot on a deal, being like, no, Mountcastle's a big part of our plan. You're not taking him from us unless the offer's really good. Maybe it's something like that.
It could be driving up the deal.
Yeah, but, it is interesting that they went out of their way to say he's a big part of the picture.
Mountie's got – you're talking about a chemistry guy. Mountie's really loved in that clubhouse. So it's a good fit. He's comfortable. But if the Orioles are exploring all options, because in my plums right now, Zach, I think that the Orioles are going to sign a free agent pitcher that's a pretty good value, and I think they're going to trade for one. And if you trade for one, who's available for you to trade? And so it seems to me, by doing this, The bigger chip would be Kobe. And you know what? Maybe it is all word salad and they end up trading Mountcastle, but I'm still a believer in his talent. If Mountie is on the team,
though, and someone brought it up right here, Brett, he only has one more year of team control. So that's then you have to consider that when you're choosing between Mountie and Kobe, because obviously Kobe, I don't want to say one has more upside than the other because we've seen Mountcastle. We don't know what Kobe's been, but we know top prospect. We've seen Mountcastle, former top prospect, what he can be when he's hot.
Yep.
But I do wonder if that 1 year of control does, play a factor in this. And then, talking, love talking ball. We got this chat, has my baseball fandom tingling. Hey, that's what we're here for,
Hey, no, we had a great community, by the way. Now, we talk a lot of other sports, and specifically football. Like, we're big in football, but baseball is always going to be our backbone. So even right now, as we talk on November 21st, baseball is going to be the backbone for us. And that's why we're talking about, because that's the hot story. Like, even around the NFL right now, what's the hot story? Well, damn. A.J. Brown said that if he's declining and so is Saquon Barkley,
must be bad too. That was
like that's
fantastic.
not even like what news are we going to talk about with that? The Eagles are 8-2, 9-2. I don't even 8-2.
I think it's 8-2. Yeah.
Whatever the hell it is, but like my point is right now, like these decisions in baseball are going to impact rosters here over the next 2 to 3 weeks. For the NFL, things aren't going to be figured out over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Now, if you lose some games in Baltimore, then that might change some thoughts, but it's actually kind of status quo. The moves around here are going to be interesting. It's not just with the Baltimore Orioles. Like, we're going to be covering all baseball, and we're going to get into a conversation because there's one name out there that Texas just let two guys go, and non-tendered, and Jonah Heim and Adolis Garcia, and they have arguably the best shortstop when he's healthy that apparently could be available. Like that is great, but I'm getting off topic. We had a great community. If you want to be a part of this community more and have some on, hey, how you doing? Ryan Ripken Show, we're live at 5 Monday through Friday. Today, a little bit later, I blame myself. And if you are in Baltimore and you want a Deep Eddy Crush, you can get it on me. And if you're not going to take it, then I'm going to drink one either live on set to chug it, or I'm going to do it right after for our channel members for a little bit of Rip After Dark. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Thank you. Great job.
I try.
Great job. Franny, Dave, we appreciate you guys over at Deep Eddy Vodka. We got a lot of people turning in on a Friday. What are your weekend plans? Let us know what you're thinking for this weekend. And you know what? Because we appreciate you guys, it's been a fun year so far. Appreciate it. Cheers. How much left is there? Okay.
When you just cheers before, I thought that was when we.
Oh, are we
you like put up here like I'll have one, so then I finished. I had like that much left, and then you started the cheers. So now I'm just here.
Also, that's the second. I was talking about the. I was thinking about Montana State, the brawl of the Wild. That's pretty electric. Do you have a dog in the fight there? Or you go Grizzlies in this case? Or
yes,
1,000%. Well, cheers, go Grizzlies.
Isn't that?
Sorry, what?
I think.
Oh, I thought something else surprised me.
No.
Ooh. That was not a good chug. I'll be honest. That was not my best. Not my worst, not my best. Cheers. And I see everyone on Facebook, X, and YouTube. We're down at Liz Tavern in Fed Hill. Beautiful. We're usually outside.
That's what the.
Oh, that's a good logo. Can we pull that logo up for a second?
This is.
I see some of our channel members. We got a cheers from Nick. I see you. Sam's working this weekend. Working on the weekend. We're always working. We're scratching. We're clawing.
I saw this on Twitter earlier. That's why all of a sudden
that's an electric.
I need to get merch. Actually, RDT. Or every time they drop this, he gets a bunch of merch. He has a ton of merch.
Really want that.
Yeah, we gotta.
Like we're all about.
We might have to hit up RDT, find his guy, find his Montana merch guy. That's a fantastic logo.
Man,
I love that logo.
I can't wait till we continue to grow and we get into more of college sports. Like our goal is here, we're going to continue to push it, pump it up, pump it up. Got to pump it up, dude. I'm terrible at chugging. That didn't go down as well as I hoped.
You're horrible at shotgunning. If we want to be just
okay. Yeah, I know I'm not good at shotgunning. We've already established this, but can I drink you under a table when it comes to tequila or some vodka? There's not a question.
Yeah, tequila. Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? They might. They might be. We might do that.
For the entire. Gosh.
So you know what we're doing with Deep Eddie? Did I tell you this before that we're going to get drunk with Deep Eddie Dave? Did I tell you this?
No.
Oh, I haven't told you this yet. So we're setting up a time to promote safe habits during the holidays. No drinking and driving. So we're going to get drunk with Deep Eddie Dave.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a cop and have a breathalyzer. We're going to do that.
I see that online all the time.
So we're going to do that to promote like how much you drink and to show you that you shouldn't drive. And we're trying to work to get vouchers to get you for Uber or Lyft or something to be smarter. So in that case, like we will be the example.
When you told me that you were doing something with Eddie Dave for a good cause. And you're like, it's going to be a fun time. I had a feeling it was this. I was like that. I've always seen videos of people doing this. That's electric.
Because at the end of the day, right, we want to have fun. We like to have fun. Sometimes if you drink, you overindulge. But when you overindulge, you still got to make the right decision. You can have too much to drink, but don't take it too far. Make the smart decision. And that's what we're trying to promote here. Be safe. One thing can end up changing everything. Yeah. So that's what we want to try to talk about. That's what we're going with. No. So I'm not driving when this happens.
Yeah.
This is me we're doing a breathalyzer and I'm not going to I am out for the count. Now, that might bring some Rip After Dark to the actual
Are we doing it
show.
In the studio or what are we doing?
I think so. Or do we do a like Ryan Ripken show holiday party?
That's how we do it. That could be
in the studio. I don't know.
Nice.
But we are not. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think the O's would let me just go to Camden Yards.
I was just gonna say that out loud, but I didn't know if we.
That's definitely. There's so many liabilities.
After the new sod just got put down, though, probably not the field. I don't think they'd let us do that on the field.
I mean, we could do it here at Lives. They would probably be open to that too.
Yeah, actually, that would make a lot of sense too. Promoting safe
because you're at the bar. Be
safe
careful.
Getting home from bars.
Safe getting home.
I said safe driving from bars. Safe getting home. I guess safe driving. Responsible driving.
Yeah, just responsible.
Responsible
driving. Go, sugar. How did we get here? Well, we got a lot of you guys joining in. So if you are new to the channel, again, hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate our channel members. So we talked about this non-tender situation. We talked about Grayson Rodriguez. We talked about we talked about Montana, the Go Grizzlies, and then we talked about safe driving. Well, how about we talk about that the Angels are becoming the Orioles? And you might be thinking, well, who the hell just got traded, right? Well, they didn't get traded, but you guys remember John Mabry? He was the Orioles' senior advisor last year, helping on the hitting side, correct? So he's joining the Los Angeles Angels as the assistant hitting coach. Well, you're wondering, well, why isn't he the main hitting coach?
Yeah.
Well, stop traffic, because the main hitting coach is none other than Orioles legend Brady Anderson. He has been named the hitting coach of the Los Angeles Angels. Are you shitting me?
Yeah.
I texted BA and I said, dude, what? Is this true? Like, are we getting back in the dugout? And he confirmed it. It's happening.
Brady Anderson and John Mayer. Also, I do want to point out, when I screenshot this, I had no clue that there was a beat reporter for the Angels with the last name Bollinger. That I did not screenshot this tweet because the reporter's last name was Bollinger, but I did not know that. All right, that's cool.
Zach's cousin right there.
Honestly, with how many of us there are, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me.
So can you get a photo real quickly of Brady Anderson, the sideburns? That's really what we want to say. What should I text him back? Need to get you on.
Yeah. Tell him to call in.
Calling from out there.
Yeah.
Congrats. Excited to see you back in the dugout. Are you going to go full uni?
Yeah, need to know.
Full
if we're going
uni
full
in the
uni.
dugout? Yeah, I'll ask him that real quickly. Uni in the dugout, question mark.
There's some sideburns for you.
Holy sideburns. See, like that's when my hair gets out of control, like that's what I think my sideburns are going to look like. You know?
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. Dude, that's electric. That's peak. That plays. That's how you bang right there. Right there.
That's okay, hand up. I guess I'll raise this hand because these are seen frame. There was a time when I think it was a senior in high school. And unintentionally, because it was one of those things where I had to shave, like in high school, couldn't have
loyal,
you couldn't
facial
have facial hair. But when I would shave without really noticing, I would go lower and lower, just kind of being like, oh, I'm not gonna hit my sideburns, but I wasn't getting a haircut. I'll see if I can find a picture, but there are a few pictures before I think my father actually sat me down. It's like, you have sideburns right now. Like it was.
Were they as good as these?
No, not good at all. They were just like, bro, like I kind of looked Amish. Like it was not a great look.
I think we should all grow them out. I think we should. But sneakily right now, the Angels managerial staff is looking pretty good. Like I'm very intrigued to watch this with Suzuki as the manager, seeing Mike Maddox as the pitching coach.
Yeah, that's going to be. They've got some
John Mabry and Brady Anderson. That's a veteran.
Well, and I think
staff.
that's really good to be with Kurt Suzuki. I think that is exactly what they needed to do. And obviously, you can say, oh, well, the Orioles didn't go do that with Alvarez, and he's a first-time manager. Yeah, but he was also a bench coach for a while. This is not his first rodeo. Kurt Suzuki was an assistant to the GM. He wasn't sitting there. He wasn't doing, every day in the dugout stuff. He wasn't coaching. He wasn't the right-hand man of a manager to get all that inside. So I think it's really smart, especially love the John Mabry hire for that. I think that's a guy who really – the moment he got to Baltimore, you felt something change.
A lot. He's a very well-respected guy around the industry. Players loved him in Baltimore. I know Dean Kramer loved having him. And he was a pitcher, but he loved having John in there talking ball. Really good baseball guy. But he's going out to the Angels there, and then the Orioles, it's becoming the LAOs. Slowly but surely. Yeah, not really, but, one can dream, one can talk about it. But if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. There's one more baseball piece we want to talk about before we get into a little bit of the weekend.
I'm not going to lie.
What do you got?
I think the guy who reported it at first is backtracking on the Corey Seager thing.
You're backtracking what?
If he's available.
If he's what?
If he's available.
Who's available?
Corey Seager.
Well, in this case, in general, we can talk about
both things.
Yeah, so we can talk about the rumor of whether it's true or not. And this is the time of year where people are going to want to just throw it out there. And this is the one thing I hate with media. But they're saying, well, the Rangers really actually move arguably the best shortstop in the game in Corey Seager. Like, what would you actually do? I hope so. With Skip Schumacher, you think Skip's going, I want to take over this Rangers team. Let's trade our best player. But they're saying that they're trying to link him to the Yankees. I think everybody is trying to be linked to the Yankees. I think that is just the –
listen, if there are very few trades that have happened, I would absolutely – it would hurt part of my love for baseball. having Corey Seager in a Yankees uniform and seeing what he would do with that short porch, he would re-enter MVP conversations. That is a lefty swing that was built for New York. That it would not surprise me if he goes to New York. Wouldn't surprise me if he's batting 280, 45 homers, driving in a hundo, giving some protection to Aaron Judge. That would be a move that would really scare me as a fellow, from an Orioles perspective in the AL East. That's a trade I would hate to see him going to the Yankees.
Well, I think here's the reality. Just take out the Yankees in this case. The reality is that MLB would love to see one of these moves. Love to see a big market team like that. I mean, look, you can love and hate the Yanks. The Yanks are one of the most popular teams in the game. But look at the AL East in general. Outside of the Rays, the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays are all the big markets that are going to spend money. And they were good last year. So, I mean, the Blue Jays, you're 2 outs away and one hanging slider to a pitcher or a batter in Miguel Rojas that hadn't hit a home run in forever and was late on the fastball and you hung a slider. That's a whole different conversation. But overall, whether it's a Corey Seager type name, there are going to be big names that these top teams are going to hunt because of the market. So that's why if you're looking around the AL East, if you're looking to contend like Baltimore, like it does make sense that you got to make some moves. But Toronto, New York, and if I'm the Yankees, I'll be honest as well, they need somebody else with Judge. I mean, it's been proven with them. They have a good team. They have a good pitching staff. There's no doubt about any of that. The problem has become Aaron Judge is their main guy. Cody Bellinger was nice this year, but you need more help if you're going to make a deeper postseason run. That's just the reality of the situation. I could see Cody going back, but then they clearly aren't going to have Anthony Volpe be the answer at shortstop there. You don't know what you're going to do essentially down the road with some of your outfield positions, and then you got to figure out, well, what's the next 2 to 3 years going to look like? And who are you going to focus on? When is Spencer Jones? Is he going to be a big leaguer coming up from the minor leagues? They're uber talented outfielder, or are you going to trade him for another uber talented player that can help you win right now? So it's really interesting to see what's going to happen there. Like really. And I know it's early in the offseason, but moves are going to be made. And for teams like the Orioles, the trade market is going to be the most important market, in my opinion, that you can do. That's the most ground you can make up. And the Orioles have been busy with trades. They traded Grayson Rodriguez, and probably the biggest shocker that everyone still can't believe is that Alex Jackson got traded to the Minnesota Twins, right? Yeah. That's the one that people can't believe. But actually, if you didn't hear that, Alex Jackson, the third catcher of the Orioles, got traded. That did happen.
All right. I've seen this on Twitter. I want to get your opinion on it. Does maybe we've talked about there's probably got to be a third catcher on the roster for emergencies because you're going to want Basayo and Rutschman in at the same time, and you don't want, if one's DHing and someone gets hurt, you lose the DH spot. Taylor Ward has played catcher in the majors. He was drafted as a catcher. Would it shock you if maybe part of the plan is he's an emergency guy? I'm not saying you ever start him there, but could that be maybe make you feel a little bit safer of, hey, we can carry two catchers?
Yeah.
If you know that, hey, worst case scenario, if one of them goes down, he has to miss some time. Just for one game, if we'd have to, Taylor Ward can catch the final few innings.
Yeah, he can do it.
You know, I do wonder if that helps them maybe free up a roster spot there just with that.
Well, because Sammy's not going to be catching all the time. He's just not going to do that. Adley's your number one. You don't need to carry three catchers on your active roster. You really don't. But I thought that was going to be the plan if you were going to have Sam Basayo play first. You know what I mean? So, like, that's just kind of the situation here. And you know, you owe Rick a Coke for saying Ward has catcher experience for an emergency.
Oh, Rick, that's on hand up. That's on me. Just so I was actually researching to make sure I was right. He was drafted as a catcher. And Rick, I owe you one. I owe you one, Rip.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of those things. I mean, the only thing with MLB is that they signed the media rights, like Netflix, NBC.
And I hate that. What opening days on Netflix, is that right? It's
I'd have to look at it.
or something is on Netflix. I like Sunday Night Baseball being on NBC. I don't know what it is that just feels. Maybe it's because NBC Sunday Night Football.
So you like that move?
Because it's it's usually on national television anyway with ESPN. So Sunday Night Baseball
food looks good.
food looks incredible.
I might have to get some food now.
NBC.
Yes.
I don't know. I kind of like NBC getting Sunday Night Baseball. Kind of like that.
Hey, monopolize the market while you're at it there. But, that's the landscape of where it's all going. I think baseball, unlike the NBA, is in a really interesting but good spot because the product overall has been pretty good. You couldn't have asked for a better postseason. I mean, Tim Kirchhoff, we had him on, he said it was the best postseason he had ever experienced, best World Series, I should say, that he'd ever seen and witnessed. So there is some positives. We got to make sure it's still fan friendly. Don't get too greedy. Make sure it's about the fans at the end of the day because they're the ones that drive this whole narrative. So I digress. But yeah, new to the channel. Hit that like and subscribe. We're live down at Liv's Tavern here in Federal Hill in Baltimore. We're hanging out. I have an empty glass. You have an empty.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I'm definitely going to have a little Orange Crush action next because that's just what I like to do. But I was trying to start it off subtle.
People helping people.
People helping people.
People helping people.
What's on your mind, Zach? I'm gonna follow your lead here.
Are we transitioning over to football?
Do you want to? Are you ready?
Yeah, let's transition over to football a little bit. I guess let's start first before we recap or go through this weekend. Last night, Texas. I said it felt like.
Dude, that was a good game.
That was a fantastic
good
game.
Thursday. It was a good Thursday night game.
Thursday.
Made you almost forget that the Broncos and Raiders played.
Yeah, that was horrible.
What was the other Thursday night game then mashed in between? What was last week's game? Last week's it was the Chiefs Broncos.
Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
It was Jets Patriots. Patriots.
That was terrible. Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad.
Yeah. I take it back. I'm sorry. That was terrible.
But here's the question I want to ask. Did you walk away yesterday more impressed with the Texans, their defense and all of that, or more concerned for Josh Allen and the Bills?
Texans defense by far. I mean, I think that I think the Bills have been a little inconsistent offensively. Like they can beat anyone when they're on, but when they have some problems, like that's something we've known. I think Houston, when they've lost this year early, like they got C.J. Stroud knocked out against the Broncos, another tough defense. They lost that game. Will Anderson is the dude. He's a beast. Everyone wants to look at who they have right now or in the NFL and Myles Garrett and T.J. Watt, but Will Anderson is like that next dude. That guy is a game wrecker. And then people forget about Hunter that's over there with Houston. They could do whatever the hell they wanted. But if you're a Buffalo fan, you can't feel good because if the Patriots beat the Bengals, I'm not going to say you're done in the division, but you're almost done. Like,
yeah, the games are running out.
It's close.
I mean, that would be like a 3-game lead. They obviously play each other once, but then that's an opportunity for the Patriots to just end it there. You're going to start needing. And I'm going to be honest with you. The Patriots play the Bills and the Ravens. That is 2 games, but then I believe they play Bengals, Jets, Dolphins, and another team that when I looked at, I was like, oh, so I think the Patriots, they could have a disappointment. Don't go Giants. That's 4 games that they should win, that they're going to be almost maybe double-digit point favorites in.
There's a plausible and a very realistic way to get them to minimum 12, 13 wins.
Yeah.
And for the Bills right now, they can't get more than 12. Right? They got 5 losses? 7-5?
4. 7-4.
No, I think they're 7-5 after last night. Oh, no, 7-4?
someone with a stat check. Did you just look up MLB standings?
I looked up the wrong ones. Yeah. I'm sorry. My mind's a little bit scrambled right now. Sorry, 7-4. And they still have to play New England. They have to play the Steelers. They have to play. I don't even know what I'm looking at. What am I looking at? I'm not. They should win this game by 1 million, but going to Cleveland, if they're.
I mean, that defense. It's kind of like you. We'll
They
see with
play
Shador
Philly.
and everything.
So they got to play Philly, the Pats, the Bengals, and the Steelers. If Joe Burrow's healthy in that game,
that's tough.
it's just a game that it's just who you match up with. Who you match up with is going to be the interesting part here. Is it weird that we're in week 12 of the season? Yeah. And I know there's an actual favorite. I know there's a favorite for the MVP. It's Matthew Stafford.
It's plus 125 and plus 150.
So there's favorites for everything. Like the Broncos and the Patriots are going to be near the top, and the Colts. But I'm not. There's a world right now that we're going to live in that Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Patrick Mahomes and their teams, the Chiefs, Ravens, and Bills, will miss the playoffs. There is a world in which that can happen. And there's also a world that one of them can miss, or maybe none of them miss. But it's a realistic chance, too, that the Ravens win the division and then they have to play the Chiefs or the Bills in the first round. So I guess where I'm going with this is, of the top teams, would you take the top teams in the AFC or would you take the rest of the field? So we're looking at Broncos, Patriots, or Colts. Do you take those three teams, or would you take the rest of the field, which would be
go to the Super Bowl,
the Chargers, the Ravens, the Chiefs, or Chiefs, Ravens, the field?
Without a doubt, I take the field.
Right?
Without a doubt. Yeah, because I already gave my prediction. The Colts need to have home field advantage to make noise, in my opinion. If they go outside, we'll see this weekend, but I'm still not convinced on the Colts. I think they have a really good defense. I love Jonathan Taylor. Their offense is efficient as all get out, but when they play outside, we've seen it one time in Pittsburgh. They didn't look great. What was it, like 7 turnovers? Yeah, just that. I would. It just is one of those things. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, those three. If I know we live in a world where all three could miss, I would assume 2 make it, at least 1. And I'm going to take that guy over Bo Nix, over Daniel Jones, over Drake May at this moment. Maybe next year down the line, Drake May, you think he's going to be a very good, very, very good quarterback. But I'm trusting them. Even, I'm trusting them.
It's in the past, it's always been a little bit more you feel good about. In the NFC, you feel like the two teams are the Rams and the Eagles, even though the Eagles have had their struggles, but it's pretty set out there. The Seahawks are in that conversation. But in the AFC, it's just not that way at all. I'm excited to see how it's all going to play out. I mean, look, in Baltimore, you expect the Ravens to beat the Jets. If you don't, then Lord help us. Then you play the Bengals, and it looks like Joe Burrow is going to play against the Ravens. He might play this weekend against the Pats. So you win those games, the Ravens are in a better position. You feel good about their trajectory. Then the Pats come to Baltimore, and that's a little, hey, how you doing? So do the Steelers. Colts play the Chiefs this weekend. That should be an interesting bout. The Chiefs have to win. They'd be 5-6, right?
Yeah.
So, sugar. It would be nuts. And also, by the way, I don't see the super chat. I don't believe it's a super chat. If you did, we definitely would notice, and Zach would then chug the entire, well, not the entire bottle. But we'll get you another Michelob Ultra.
I would Uber home if we had to.
He would. We'd start the Uber home now, drinking responsibly. Is there a world where losing the division but getting a wild card spot is the better path?
I don't think that they can. It's very hard for the Ravens to get to the wild card.
because they lost. They don't have the tiebreaker over Houston. They don't have the tiebreaker over the Bills. That's a hard one to overcome.
Yeah, currently they would have to jump now with the Texans jumping to 6-5. They would have to jump the Chiefs, who they don't have the tiebreaker over, the Jaguars. I mean, it is possible, obviously, to get into one of the, to that 7th seed. You're only a game back technically. But if you lose games to Pittsburgh, like it's hard. You're assuming if Pittsburgh wins the division that they're winning those games.
Yeah.
So then I don't know if the Ravens have enough time to make up this ground if they're losing the division and inevitably losing at least one to Pittsburgh. But, I mean, it's still possible, obviously.
I mean, right now, so to get a wild card spot, how it feels for the Ravens, they're going to have to get to 11-6 or maybe 10-7, but it doesn't help that you have you don't own the tiebreaker against 3 teams that are at the same spot or ahead of you right now. And that's the problem. So I think it's really, and again, I'll be honest, I'd rather play the Bills. And if you're going to have to play them at some point, I'd rather play the Bills and Chiefs or anybody else at home. But right now, they got to win. They got to win this week, win next week, and then just win. Then you worry about it at the end. No one cares. Just win.
Ravens aren't great at, everyone keeps talking about they should be dominating this year if they were healthy, if they started off just even semi-well. All I'm going to say is Ravens aren't known for winning the Super Bowl when they're juggernauts. They're pretty good, though, when they're a little doubted. So we'll see what happens there. Let's go through this week's slate, because I think we were talking about this yesterday. There are a lot of games where I feel like it's going to be a blowout. Seahawks, Titans, although Giants with Jameis again, that could be frisky. I know we talked about it yesterday. Is there a game that stands out to you? I'm really excited for Sunday Night Football. Bucks versus Rams.
Bucks, Rams, no Bucky. And by the way, you've seen that whole story, right? The Bucky, they're saying he's very cryptic from a lot of reporters. Yeah. Like Florio had one. Rondé Barber, who Hall of Fame. Is he a Hall of Famer? I forget. Rondé, Bucks legend, was talking about, that Rondé or that Bucky was dealing with things that were more than just his.
23, class of 23.
So a lot more that was going on besides just on the football side. Overall, for Bucky, I'm curious because obviously he's a playmaker, but that should be a great game, Bucks and Rams. I'm hoping the Panthers-Niners is a good game. I hope that the Raiders-Browns is the ugliest game, but I want to see what Shador does. That's the one I'm intrigued with. The Colts-Chiefs, I want it to be a good game, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. I'll be honest. I'm not. Maybe I'm just such a Chiefs believer at this moment in time that they're going to get it done.
Yeah, I don't see the Chiefs losing this game and also because it's 1:00. Some of these, I know people don't want to talk about it. Colts Chiefs, if that is a primetime game, that's a primetime game. Maybe they don't lose that one. Maybe the Colts pull it off. 1:00. This just seems like a Chiefs win. Take care of business. Honestly, Lions Giants, I think because that's a 1:00 game, that's a blowout. I hope the Ravens Jets is a blowout. That'd be much better for my heart. It would be much, much better for my heart. But I think there are definitely more good 1:00 games. Raiders Browns, not an ideal 4:00 game. Jags Cardinals, Eagles Cowboys is going to carry that 4:00 slate.
I hope so. Wait, you're saying that the Jags Cardinals isn't going to move the needle for you?
Well, Ravens fans need the Cardinals to pull that out. That's for sure. Jacoby Brissett, 47 completions. Do it.
So Brady texted me back. So I said, congrats, excited to see you back in the game, or you're going to have full union in the dugout. So I'll show you first. So Brady's saying full uni. Shoe game still top percentile in all of Major League Baseball. I can't
Brady
wait.
Anderson, ladies and gentlemen.
Brady Anderson. We'll get Captain Sideburns on here in a little bit. But
We're
there's a lot
gonna
of
have
good
to.
moves, a lot of good games, a lot of good times. Oh goodness gracious! Yeah, good times, good times. And hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you like my hairline or you think it's awful, I don't really care, Eric. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Come from a family
Stop
where
it.
you know what, it's not. I'm
not
not really
looking
worried
great.
about it.
Yeah,
Just
I
here to
think
have
you
a
know
good-
the inevitable.
Yeah, we're not here for a long time, here for a good time. And we appreciate our channel members. Appreciate all you guys. Hope you're doing well. I think that's all we kind of got today, Zach. I mean,
Yeah, I think we covered our bases.
I think what
Definitely
we'll
some
do-
news with the tenders and non-tenders, but
I think for channel members too, we might do a live as we're cleaning up. Just say, hey, what's going on?
like we did last
Get the
time.
zoomies going again. Yeah, get the zoomies going. So anything else we got? Thoughts?
You want to pick an underdog that pulls it off this weekend?
I think the Cards beat the Jags.
Cowboys are beating the Eagles.
You got the Cowboys over the Eagles. I got the Jags, or the Cards over the Jags.
It's got to be Cowboys Eagles. It's got to be.
Well, as long as Jalen Hurts has 2 or 3 tutties for my fantasy squad, that's all I need right there. Should be good. Well, hey, guys, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for joining us for this happy hour Friday. We're live again from Liv's Tavern. Next time, come down and see us. In the future, though, we'll see you soon. Have a day, have a night, have a great stinking weekend. And we'll be live at 5 on Monday to recap everything that's happened from this weekend. Who knows? The Orioles or someone around Major League Baseball makes another move. Then we'll see you over at Kevin and Zach React, or we'll see you right back here on the Ryan.